Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Secretariat of CPOPC, the Director, the Secretary General of CPOPC, Bapak Dr. Rizal, Datuk Nagib, Pak Wicak, dan Ibu Puah, and fellow smallholders from Indonesia, from Malaysia, from Honduras. Please allow me to share the information because CPOPC specifically asked me about what kind of smallholders do Indonesian smallholders need. So I was meditating with my other fellow of smallholders in Indonesia. I was discussing with Pak Yunus from Sumsel. I was discussing with Pak Indra from Kalimantan and also from Papua. And I hope what we share, we can get support from all of the stakeholders here for the better smallholders in Indonesia and also for worldwide. And also the Honorable Ibu Musdalifah Mahmud. Thank you so much, Ibu. And please allow me to share my presentation. Can I use this? Okay. A little bit of information. My name is Djono Albar Burhan, has been mentioned by Pak Wicak before. Just for information, I have 30 slides and my time is only 15 minutes, so bear with me. I will be very brief. I'm the head of international relation of DPP APKASINDO, Association of Oil Palm Smallholders in Indonesia. And I was also elected as the Young LS Ambassador CPOPC. Thank you so much for CPOPC. And I was also invited by many countries and many representatives from other countries, from India, from Pakistan. And this month, I will also attending again the discussion in Pakistan, in Islamabad. We are from APKASINDO. We are in 22 province. We are the largest Indonesia oil palm smallholders across Indonesia, from Sumatra Island to Papua Island. And a little bit of information that we already know that 41% of the land of palm oil owned by the smallholders in Indonesia. So smallholders is a big key player in this industry in Indonesia. So let's just dig into the specific questions about the technology. So I need to remind to all of us first, before we go more into detail, what to consider if we're talking about technology by the smallholders. First one is that price fluctuation of the FFB. It's very important because the livelihood is coming from this FFB price. The demography of smallholders, how all the age, what's culture and such, and the land contour. Is it land or is it hilly and things? And very most important thing is that it should be the technology cheap. This is the number one important point for smallholders in Indonesia. The technology, any kind of technology that we want to like to implement should be cheap. And this is the profile of oil palm smallholders in Indonesia. On average, we have around 4 hectares per smallholders, and the income is around 300 USD per month, and the expenses around also 300 per month, and the family member is 3 people on average. This is the education level of oil palm smallholders. This is very important, ladies and gentlemen. The age of the first generation of oil palm smallholders right now is around, you can see, is 49 to 72 years old, the first generation. There is a transition already from the first generation to the second generation. I myself as the second generation of oil palm smallholders. And the good thing about palm oil is that the livelihood is getting better. So the kids of the first generation of smallholders, the education is getting better. So on average, we are in diploma and bachelor degree. However, ladies and gentlemen, the downside is that the more educated the second generation of oil palm smallholders is, the less they want to become the oil palm smallholders. This is a big problem, because as Bu Musdalifah previously mentioned before, this palm oil should exist in next 100 years. How come we will have this palm oil in 100 years if the oil palm smallholders is decreasing? So it's not only replanting for the plant, but also replanting for the generation, because it's very important. This is very integral part of palm oil. And this is the price fluctuation of FFB in Indonesia. We already implemented the B35 and it's giving a good impact on the price of FFB for Indonesian oil palm smallholders. It's quite stable right now. And this is the average FFB production of oil palm smallholders in Indonesia. We can see the productivity is getting lower and lower, even though it's just a mere, but it's still it's decreasing. So it's very important. The replanting program, it is one of the key for the smallholders to improving the productivity and also increasing the OR, the oil content of palm oil. Because if the FFB production is decreasing, meaning the livelihood and the income of the smallholders also decreasing. And this is the profitability of analysis for palm oil, oil palm smallholders. On average, the cost of goods sold, or what we say in Indonesia, cost of goods sold in English. For minerals, it's around 0.13 USD per kilos. For peat, it's a bit higher. It's 0.14 USD per kilo. And profit margin is around 10 to 20%. Many aspects here. And average monthly profit per month per hectare is around 61 US dollar. So this is the profitability analysis of smallholders that we done around Indonesia from Sumatra to Papua Island. During my Young Allies Ambassadors, I was doing this research and I shared this, and it's been answered by 500 second generation of oil palm smallholders. And the answer answered by next generation of oil palm from Sumatra to Papua Island. And the age range is 18 to 25 mostly. And what do oil palm smallholders children want? So they want to become the next generation of oil palm smallholders. The answer number one is that the first one is the digital technology innovation. So this is paramount. This is very important. If you want to ask the next generation to become oil palm smallholders, these things that we need to consider. First is digital technology innovation. The second one is that the good agriculture practices. And the third one is financial innovation. We now, as the oil palm smallholders, especially the second generation of oil palm smallholders, we are implementing already the circular economy, especially using the EFB, empty fruit bunch. And the use of good agricultural practices is very important, paramount for next generation of oil palm smallholders. So going into more detail, things to consider. First one is price fluctuation of FFB, demography, land control should be, the price of technology should be cheap. And more importantly, lowering costs, increasing input, reducing time, increasing OR, and increasing price of FFB. So I divided into 4 parts, which reducing the cost, 2 technologies that I will discuss later, increasing input, reducing time, and increasing OR, which will lead into the increasing the price of FFB. And downstream, we will discuss about mini mill or FFB to cooking oil mill. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the graph of rainfall in Indonesia. We can see that it's still above average, the requirement for palm oil in 2023. You know, there is a El Nino, La Nina. It's affecting palm oil industry. But the most haunting for palm oil, especially for oil palm smallholders, is that the runoff of the fertilizer, because fertilizer is very expensive for smallholders, and the rainfall adding more the runoff. So there is one way now for smallholders. We can, we usually spread across the crop, but also we can dig it into the land, and then we put the fertilizer inside. But it takes time, it takes cost. So what we propose is that maybe we could improve this technology and adding, like injection technology. We can just test, and then the fertilizer just come inside the soil directly. So reducing time and also reducing costs, and also reducing the runoff. And there is a drone technology nowadays already. However, it's very costly and very technical for smallholders. So we are just proposing this could be one of the ways for smallholders to have, is that AI fertilizer photo analysis. So maybe we can only require 1 pole per hectare, and resulting individual crop for NPK requirements. The second one is best time to give fertilizer, and also showing which override FFB. So also for reducing the cost. The third one is that the kinetic electric wheelbarrow. The electric wheelbarrow is already there. This is the video was taken was when last year when I was visit in Sime Darby in Malaysia. And this is very important, I believe, for smallholders. However, it's still costly for smallholders to buy. And maybe if there is an implementation of a kinetic energy, so we don't need to change or we don't need to recharge the technology, it will be very beneficial for smallholders to implement. For faster transport FFB from the crop to the collecting points, less energy needed, and kinetics with brakes. I don't know. Maybe it's possible. There are so many expert people in here. The fourth one is that post-light digitalization app. This is what I do in my plantation as my as the second generation of oil palm smallholders. I already digitalized some of the data. I show this, but the income I need to blur it. I cannot show. And this is the harvesting graph from blocks to blocks, so we can know which one is higher productivity, which one is a lower productivity, because this is very important for smallholders. So we can put the fertilizer even more specific. And agile dumper, this is very important for smallholders because the road is not pretty good for smallholders. This is already, the technology is already here. However, it's very costly. It's quite expensive compared to car. This is quite low in speed. So it's not really increasing the input. So maybe we can have a more agile dumper. So we, in any kind of roads or in any flood, we still can to harvest our FFB. And it's a high maintenance cost right now. And this is the price of fertilizer in Indonesia. We can see the peak in 2022. The price is around 300, 54 USD per sack, and we need like a 6 sack, so it's around 323 sack, 323 USD per hectare times three times in a year we do it, right? And it's very costly for smallholders. So that's why smallholders usually also implementing the EFB as the supplementary or exchange for the expensive fertilizer. However, there is this technology, right? Rabbit mover. What if this rabbit mover we can add with the EFB applicator? So while it's cleaning the land, we can also give the application for the EFB, because nowadays for applicating the EFB, it requires at least 4 hectare, 50 tons, and it's around 5 days to finish 1 hectare just to implement the EFB. So it takes more time. So maybe this could be implemented in the future.
Your time, Pak.
Yeah, Pak. Yeah, Pak. Okay, Pak. Local traceability system. So this is the very ideal supply chain for smallholders, but not many smallholders doing this. So this is what is very common in Indonesia right now, smallholders to small buyer, big buyer. So this is what we propose. If we put the barcode to the FFB, mungkin is very hassle. So we propose it. Maybe we can collaborate with the RAM or for the middleman, and we can create this barcode. So the smallholders can, when smallholders sell the FFB to the RAM, they know, oh, this is from this smallholder. It's very easy and less costly. And we can also do this in the mill barcode. So it's linked from the RAM to the mill. And this is from FFB that I sold just last week. See the name, Djono. Okay, a little bit more. This is a loose palm fruit picker. It is already around now. However, it's very not very helpful, not very effective. Even more takes time. If there is a sound here, the person says buang masa. So it takes more time, takes more effort just to pick the palm fruit. Ganoderma proof is very big trouble from smallholders now. So Ganoderma proof palm seed is we hope. The last one is the instant oil checker, because for smallholders, the relation with the mill usually that this is the FFB, this is the discount. So we don't. They just say this is your OR without saying without using any analytical information. So maybe if we can use this instant order checker, we can have a better partnership with the mill, better transparency and better. And lastly is downstream mini mill or FFB to cooking oil mill. This is also when the visit in the induction program to the IPB. There is this program. And this is also hope for smallholders. We can add the livelihood, we can add the income for smallholders, not only selling FFB, but also can go into more the mini mill, a little bit more. So smallholders usually do not calculate ROI, return on investment, return on asset, return on equity, net present value, return earning, or even earning per share or book value. We don't calculate it as smallholders. We only calculate this L, F minus D, E minus S. Livelihood, that's only we calculate. Livelihood, it's the income of from the FFB, less daily expensive. If there is still money that we still have, then we continue to the next calculation. Is it enough for buying fertilizer? And then reducing again, do we have any savings? That's it for the smallholders. We don't have the very complex calculation, very financial thing, but we only calculate for our livelihood. Technology is the key for a better palm oil. I'm Djono Albar Burhan. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Or should I say good afternoon? Let's just say good day to everyone for those who are online right now. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Shofi bin Mustapa. I'm from National Association of Smallholders Malaysia. So today I was given an opportunity to give a talk about how to close gap using good agricultural practice. So since we only have 15 minutes, so I tried to make it as short as possible, but still very informative, inshallah. Okay, first, before we go any further, I would like to first introduce about NASH and also all palm smallholders. So National Association of Smallholders Malaysia was established in 1975. This is our 49 years now. And to next year, we will be celebrating our 50th years anniversary, inshallah. So for more than 40 years, our members consist of 150,000 smallholders. And after we do all the auditing, currently we are having 47,000 active members, which was majority is from oil palm and rubber smallholders. So our vision is to establish smallholders who will benefit legitimately from the government distribution of wealth and positioning them with high esteem and more values in the society. And our mission is to enhance the socio-economic status of smallholders through collaboration with government agencies and private sectors by pooling the smallholders' assets to the maximum. Okay, so let me introduce to you the landscape of Malaysian smallholders. I'm sure that many of you already know about Malaysian palm oil smallholders, but for those who don't know, Malaysian smallholders, the definition of Malaysian smallholders is someone who own land less than 40.46 hectares or equivalent to 100 acres. We have two categories of smallholders, which refers to the independent smallholders. Majority was managed by MPOB, and also organized smallholders. For organized smallholders like FELDA and FEL Trust Settlers. The average age for smallholders in Malaysia is 65 years, approximately 65 years. And their land ownership is around 3.8 hectares for the Peninsula Malaysia and 6 hectares for Sabah and Sarawak. And their FFB yield for smallholders is around 13.89 tons per hectare per year. This is the data that we get from Malaysian Palm Oil Board. And their income generation is around 1,890 ringgit. Or if you convert it to USD, it's around 380 US dollar. Okay, so this is the distribution of oil palm planted area by category for 2023. As you can see, the total hectares in Malaysia, we have more than 5 million, the exact 5.6 million hectares. And from that numbers, almost a quarter from the numbers, 26.4% planted by the smallholders themselves. So the independent smallholders is 822,000 hectares and dependent smallholders 674,000. So for total certified area of MSPO for Malaysian smallholders, This data you can access, anyone can access from MSPO website. So the total certified planted area in Malaysia is 4.8 million hectares. And the total certified area for smallholders from that number is 1 million hectares. Okay, so let's go to the current challenge. As you see the graphic that we put here right now, this is the productivity of yield. This is the current productivity of yield per hectare for the smallholders compared to the big boys. So as you can see, okay. So this one, the white at the middle is the gap difference between the smallholders and the big boys. For average Malaysian OER, oil extraction rate for Malaysia for 2023 is 20%. So the difference in gap from the smallholders and the estate level before COVID, we were talking about before COVID, is around 5 to 20 ton of FFB. So for smallholders, usually they are getting around 5 to 15 tons of FFB per hectare per year. So the maximum will be 15 ton. But for the big boys, they are getting minimum is around 20 to 30 tons, and some even reach 35 tons. So these are the difference that the gap that we need to narrow down between the smallholders, and this can be done through G.A.P. Okay, so I will not. This is some of the G.A.P principles that was implemented in Malaysia. I will not go in detail about this, but this is for all of everyone to establish a little bit information. So these are the challenges, the productivity gap. The challenges are faced by the smallholders compared to the estate level. So first is land. Most of the smallholders have problem with their land title, and they have this marginal soil, and some of them have a very poor accessibility. So some of them, their small holdings are located 5 to 6 kilometers from their house, some even further than that. And then in Malaysia right now, we have issues with agricultural input, price hike in agricultural input. So some of the fertilizers, which cost only around 60 to 80 ringgit per 50 kilogram before this, are getting high as much as 160 ringgit, 2 times higher than the price before. And then for the labor shortage, our local youth are not interested in our to participate in oil palm because of the 3D perception. They think that it is dirty, dangerous, and they have no future career. So this is some of the issue faced by the smallholders. And they also have the problem for technology. They have lack capital to buy new technology, machinery and technology, particularly in harvesting. So for smallholders, from NASH, what we always focus on, technology must be three factors, three main things that need to be considered for smallholders to buy the technology. First is technologically feasible, and then economically viable, and socially acceptable. And most of the technology that was developed for the smallholders sectors is not economically viable for the smallholders. So in terms of legislation, the local law, we have the local law. So the smallholders, some of the smallholders, they don't see the importance of MSPO. So these are some of the problems that need to be solved. And we, NASH, have been working closely with MPOB and also MPOC and MPOCC in promoting the smallholders to get certified with MSPO. So as you can see, this is the current problem and how the smallholders are not solving the problem compared to the big boys. So for the agricultural input price hike, what they do, the smallholders are using they are minimizing their cost by using low quality input with cheaper price. Compared to the big boys, they already have they can minimize the cost by ordering in bulk since they have the bigger land ownership. And then for the labor issue, the 3D perception, no future career, local youth not interested. So the smallholder solution, they use foreign worker through dealers. Since most of the smallholders only own less than 3.8 hectares of land, they don't have their own workers. So what do? They use the dealers to get workers. And this provides them a problem after COVID because most of the foreign workers already come back to Indonesia. So we don't have workers. During that time, the smallholders are getting around 400 a ton, 400 ringgit per ton for their FFB. So that's a big problem for the smallholders. For the big boys, they have existing future career. So they have created strategic employment system. They reduce dependency on manual workers via mechanization. And then for the law and certification issues like RSPO, MSPO, this is where, like I mentioned before, NASH came to help the smallholders. We provide consultation program to smallholders. We work closely with MPOB, MPOC, and some of the international NGO like Solidaridad. We provide consultation program to the smallholders in terms of G.A.P. and for them to get free certification MSPO from the government. But for the big boys, how they solve this kind of problem? They don't have this kind of problem actually, because all the documentation they have is the existing systematic documentation for G.A.P. and all, so they are easier to be certified. And for technology, the adaptability and accessibility, most of the smallholders they are using DIY technology, and many of the majority of them still use the conventional method to harvest their fruit. But for the big boys, they are easier to implement new technology with high-skilled workers and employees. So they really focus on the importance of ROI. So they would go to invest more on the technology and more advancement. So we go to G.A.P. to close gap. So I'm not going to take how, we're not going to discuss about how the G.A.P. itself can close the gap. I'm going to talk how we can use the G.A.P. Through cooperative to solve the gap between the smallholders and the estate level. So the solution is to organize the inorganized smallholders. So we need to implement G.A.P. through clustering and cooperative movement. So our Malaysian minister, Dato' Johari, our plantation and commodities minister, he already suggested the smallholders to be clustered under one entity to be managed under one estate. So from NASH, since our establishment back in 1975, we already recommended the smallholders, all of our members, to be clustered together under one cooperative. And one of our efforts, we've already established back in the day, Koperasi. One of the cooperative which is now very well known is Koperasi Ladang. Before this, their name is Koperasi Pekebun Kecil Malaysia Berhad. And now they have been rebranded as Koperasi Ladang. And currently, Koperasi Ladang is one of the most successful cooperative for agricultural sector in Malaysia. And then we also we also recommend to all our state committee, especially in Johor, Melaka, and also Perak, to establish their own state cooperative. So what they do, currently we have our own, not NASH cooperative, but smallholder cooperative in Johor, Negeri Sembilan, Terengganu, and Perak. And also for the independent smallholders, what is the government initiative to cluster? So when minister referring about clustering the smallholders, what we see the government of Malaysia should empower Koperasi Penanam Sawit Mampan Malaysia, KPSM. This was initiative by the Malaysian government in 2011 to cluster the smallholder estate under one management. So currently there are 70 KPSM that have been established with a total member of 8,567 members. This is all independent oil palm smallholders. Okay, so the function, not for KPSM only, the general function of cooperative is also to become the buyer of FFB from its members and provide harvesting and crop management service to the smallholders, and also sell agricultural input with reasonable price. Okay, so these are some of the advantage. If we look closely, the advantage also, all of this advantage already covered the G.A.P. for the smallholders. If you look at the number one exchange of knowledge, the cooperative can facilitate the exchange of knowledge on sustainability requirement among their members. And then for the certification and sustainability, the smallholders can work together to meet sustainable standard and share all the associated costs. And then for empowerment and social benefit, they can empower this by giving them a collective decision making and policy advocacy. And for economic of scale, the smallholders can collectively negotiate better price for the agricultural input, and also the G.A.P implementation from the cooperative can help reduce chemical input costs, especially pesticides, while also improving the environment and enhancing the ecosystem service of the smallholders. And the smallholders can get a better price for their FFB because they can sell it by group. So they can sell directly to mill, they can get a better price. And they can work closely with the mill. And then access to finance. So cooperative can act as a platform for their members to access credit cards and financial service. They can also collect money from the smallholders themselves, collect to buy all the technology need as mentioned before by Pak Djono, because the technology looks quite expensive, Pak Djono. And then we go to the government support and infrastructure development. Cooperative can be a platform for smallholders to get any advice or program update from governments such as MPOB. And also the government can provide support and incentives to oil palm cooperatives and assist the cooperative in exploring diversification into other business, not just in the oil palm business. So when we talk about technology, our team is technology for this first session. So we will not complete if you don't talk about digitalization. So currently in NASH, we have been working closely with a company named DBIS to promote their digitalization applications, as you can see in the display right here. So this application enables smallholders to access market more effectively through application system that connect with buyers, processors, and distributors of agricultural input, thus eliminating the intermediaries and ensuring fair prices for their product. And this blockchain technology, which was promoted by DBs and digital records, can be used to create a transparent and traceable supply chain. And this will enable consumer to identify sustainable source and to pay premium prices to the smallholders. So currently, this is the government support for oil palm smallholders. Alhamdulillah, after a few years, we've been reaching the government. Our president, Tuan Haji Azmi bin Hassan, was named as the $100 million man. Alhamdulillah, because the government already approved in providing the smallholders with 100 million grant for replanting.
Pak Shofi, your time.
Okay, Pak. Sikit lagi, Pak. Sikit. So the smallholders get replanting from, it was called as Scheme Tanam Semula Perkebunan Kecil Sawit 2.0. So the smallholders get, the government provide 100 million to the smallholders in terms of, in kind of loans and aids for the smallholders for them to do the replanting. And then government also provide sustainable palm oil certification for the smallholders. They don't have to pay anything. So they get the free certification for smallholders. And then for the latest initiative for government is Budi Madani. So this is the diesel aid for smallholders. So for smallholders that use diesel transportation, they can benefit from this Budi Madani. They get around 200 ringgit per month to top up for their diesel. Okay, so the conclusion, bigger supply can affect cost effectiveness of a business, and palm oil sectors are no exception. To close the gap between the smallholders and the big boys, smallholders need to improve on the G.A.P. They need to empower the G.A.P. to be on par with the big player. And the best solution from our perspective is through cooperative. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Buenas noches,
Good evening.
gusto saludarles. Mi nombre es Ramón Santos y me siento honrado de poder estar aquí compartiendo con ustedes la experiencia de los pequeños productores de Ondupalma.
And my name is Alexis Santos, and I feel honored to be here with you, sharing the experience of the smallholder of Ondupalma.
Vamos a compartir pantalla.
Are you going to share screen?
Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Ok. La gestión de la producción y los precios para garantizar que los productores de Ondupalma reciban precios estables.
The name is the production and price management to guarantee that Ondupalma members receive stable prices.
Siguiente.
Next.
¿Quién es Ondupalma?
Who is
Ondupalma es,
Ondupalma?
Ondupalma es una empresa del sector social de la economía fundada en 1982 y que aglutina a más de 800 productores en las diferentes cooperativas producto de la reforma agraria.
Ondupalma is a company in the social sector of the economy founded in 1982, made up of more than 800 small producers who are members of the cooperative dedicated to the production and marketing of products.
En Ondupalma nos dedicamos a la producción y comercialización de productos derivados de la palma, como ser aceite crudo, aceites refinados, productos de lavandería, grasas para suplementos alimenticios para animales y aceites y mantecas envasados.
We are working on the palm oil sector, producing soup, producing vegetable oils and grass, and also feed for animals.
Contamos con marcas registradas para nuestros productos alimenticios, como ser la marca Clavel, la marca del Portal en aceites y mantecas, y la marca Jansur en jabones de lavandería y Palmagras para los suplementos alimenticios para ganadería.
Talking about brands, we have the brands in the vegetable oils called Clavel oil, and also we have grass called Portal, and in the soup, the name of the brand is Jansur.
Ondupalma cuenta con una planta para procesar el aceite de palma con capacidad de 90 toneladas por hora.
The capacity of the mill is 9 tons per hour. 90.
Contamos también con una planta para el procesamiento de la palmistería con una capacidad de 80 toneladas por hora.
The palm kernel oil plant has a capacity of 80 tons per hour. The crushing plant.
De igual manera, contamos con una refinería con capacidad de 300 toneladas por día.
The refinery has a capacity of 340 tons per day.
Una planta de fraccionamiento con capacidad de 220 toneladas día.
And fractionation plant with a capacity of 220 tons per day.
Siguiente. También contamos con una planta para el procesamiento de productos empacados y envasados con una capacidad de 132 toneladas por día.
Palma also has a butter manufacturing packing plant for Clavel and Del Portal brand oils with a capacity of 132 tons per day.
Las cooperativas de Ondupalmas también cuentan con su propia empresa financiera y eso les permite obtener créditos a bajas tasas de intereses.
And the cooperative of the smallholders has its own financial bank where they can have loans with low rate interest.
Las cooperativas de los pequeños productores también cuentan con una planta de generación de energía con 55,000 kilowatts por día, todo esto a partir de la captura de metano.
And they have a power generation plant with a capacity of 55,000 kilowatt per day. All this with a biogas plant.
Okay. Contamos con una planta de productos de lavandería, jabones para lavandería, con una capacidad de 120 paquetes, 120,000 paquetes por mes, que cada paquete tiene 12 unidades.
And also a soap manufacturing plant for laundry use with a capacity of 120,000 bales per month or 20 units per bale.
También contamos con una planta de producción de suplementos alimenticios para ganadería con una capacidad de 40,000 sacos por mes. Cada saco tiene 55 kilogramos.
And also a feed supplement for livestock. They have a plant of manufacturing with a capacity of 4,000 bags per month, and every bag has 55 kilograms.
Somos una empresa altamente sostenible y tenemos certificaciones ISO 9001, que es un sistema de gestión de calidad.
Palma is a company who is highly sustainable with a lot of certification, including ISO 9001.
También, ok. Podríamos regresar al anterior, please.
Can we go back a little bit?
Tenemos la certificación ambiental ISO 14001, la certificación en seguridad y salud en el trabajo 45001 y el esquema de inocuidad de alimentos, y somos la única empresa en Honduras certificada RSPO Identidad Preservada.
Palma also has ISO 14,001, ISO 45,001, and also is the only plant in Honduras who has RSPO certification in an IP model.
Siguiente.
Next one, please.
En cuanto a los pequeños productores independientes, está formada una asociación que se llama PAIGUAI, que es la Asociación de Pequeños Productores de Palma de Aceite, que tiene más de 800 miembros.
In the case of smallholders, Palma has an association named PAIGUAI, which is a cooperative that has more than 800 members.
El propósito de esta organización de pequeños productores es mejorar la calidad de vida de sus miembros, las condiciones y mejorar la productividad, obteniendo asistencia técnica y facilidades para la adquisición de insumos agrícolas.
The purpose of this association is to provide the members with better living conditions by improving productivity, obtaining technical assistance and facilities in the acquisition of agricultural inputs.
¿Cuáles son los beneficios que ofrece Ondupalma a los pequeños productores independientes?
The benefit that Palma provide to the independent smallholders.
Ofrecemos asistencia técnica a cada uno de los productores y Ondupalma cubre los costos de todos los técnicos que visitan a los pequeños productores.
The first going to technical assistance, Palma cover the expenses of the technical assistance.
También los asistimos en prácticas agrícolas a cada uno de nuestros pequeños productores.
Palma offer technical advice to all the smallholders in agricultural practice.
Ofrecemos a nuestros pequeños productores todos los insumos que utilizan en sus fincas a precio de costo.
Palma supplies and offer all the inputs to the smallholders in a cost price.
Hemos apoyado a cada uno de los productores en la georreferenciación de las áreas de sus fincas.
Support to the smallholders with georeferences of the areas.
También ofrecemos créditos a los pequeños productores de cada uno de los productores independientes y de las cooperativas.
And we provide also certified nurseries with high quality standards.
También ofrecemos viveros certificados de alta calidad a cada uno de los productores a precios accesibles.
And we provide certified nursery and seeds to the smallholders with the available prices.
Ofrecemos bonificaciones en productos como mantecas, aceites y jabones de lavandería.
We offer also benefits to the smallholders with oil, with soup, and with grasses.
También preparamos los programas de fertilización para cada uno de los pequeños productores sin ningún costo.
We prepare the fertilizer program to the smallholder without a cost.
Estamos apoyando a un grupo de pequeños productores para lograr la certificación RSPO. Ya están certificados en la etapa de elegibilidad.
And we support a small group of smallholders to be certified at RSPO in the near future.
Ofrecemos capacitaciones en todos los tipos de temas agrícolas para el mejor manejo de sus fincas.
And we offer also training to the smallholder to the better handle of the plantations.
De igual manera, organizamos eventos para celebrar el desarrollo y la compañía con cada uno de los pequeños productores.
And we organize events to celebrate with them every step and also the riches of the smallholders.
Siguiente.
Next one.
El establecimiento de precios a los pequeños productores, manejamos un 14% del precio del cierre internacional.
To handle the price to the smallholders, we use the 14% of the Sea Rotterdam.
Mantener los precios a los pequeños productores depende de todos los beneficios adicionales que ofrece la organización.
Maintaining this price depending of all the benefits, additional benefit the organization provide to them.
Mantener precios estables, pues nos lo permite el hecho de que contamos con valor agregado, con la refinería, la planta de mantecas y las plantas de los productos de limpieza.
One of the advantage to keep these prices is that we offer downstream in the palm oil supply. So we have the refinery and also the other products that can provide this price.
De igual forma, agregamos valor con cada uno de los pequeños productores a través de todos los beneficios que se le está proveyendo.
And we add value to the smallholder with all the benefits that we provide to them.
Siguiente.
Next one.
Bueno, el mecanismo de los precios para mantener la fluctuación, como les comentaba, tenemos la refinería, la fraccionadora y la planta de productos de empaque.
The way to stabilize the price in the palm oil market here is using the refinery and all the other values of the palm oil chain.
Ofrecemos bonos por productividad y por transporte, más toda la asistencia técnica gratuita.
We offer bonus for productivity and transport.
De la productividad. Bueno, también manejamos toda la asistencia técnica está dirigida a que cada productor mejore su rendimiento por hectárea.
And all this work is to improve the productivity of the smallholders.
Y ofrecemos pagos inmediatos en cuanto el productor llega a nuestras básculas.
And we offer immediately payment. So when the producer goes to the mill.
Siguiente.
Next one.
Muchísimas gracias por su atención. Cualquier consulta, estoy a su disposición.
And a very good morning. Okay. First, I want to ask Mr. Sophie about due to the challenge that you have said before about the challenge of productivity of G.A.P. So the question is, what has NASH done to help the smallholder implement the G.A.P and how to get the MSPO certification from the government? Okay, thank you.
Your time.
Okay, thank you for the question. For NASH, the question is about how the smallholders implement G.A.P. What's NASH has done, right? So since 2015, since the government promoting MSPO, we NASH have working closely with different government agencies, especially MPOB. We provide the training for the smallholders. Back in 2017 to 2019, we accomplished to train more than 600 oil palm smallholders about the MSPO certification. We provide awareness program for them. This program we collaborate with MPOB. And then after 2020, which is the post-COVID, we have worked closely with different private entities like Solidaridad. And for that, collaboration with NASH and Solidaridad, we accomplished to train more than 2,400 smallholders, oil palm smallholders. So during the program, we provide the smallholders about the consultation regarding the G.A.P procedures, how to implement G.A.P in their land, and how to get the MSPO certification. And Alhamdulillah, we achieved to train more than 2,400 smallholders, and we are looking to target more. We want to train more of the smallholders. We want to make sure that all the smallholders will be certified with MSPO by the end of 2025 or 2026. Okay, hope that answered the question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody other else? No? Oh, yeah. Okay, please. Please be sure.
Presentation was excellent. Thank you very much. I have a question. How much
To whom?
are smallholders reliant on private credit?
We cannot hear you, Mister.
Do
Louder.
smallholders use private credits much? And what could improve access to credit for smallholders? That's my first question.
To who? You ask question to?
To Pak Djono,
Pak Djono.
but perhaps both.
Thank you for the question. So you mean a loan? Loan for the smallholders? Okay. So usually for smallholders, we use one of source of loan for smallholders to give it to the bank is that the land bank, the land ownership certificate of the smallholders. I cannot see you. It's very bright. It's too bright. Okay. So yeah, for the smallholders, we usually give the land certificate to the bank. And usually in Indonesia, we have the name of a KUR or Kredit Usaha Rakyat. It's for people. And it's coded in Indonesia. For smallholders, usually we can use our certificate roughly for around 100 million rupiah per hectare, usually, yeah. And with a very soft credit and soft loan. That's usually for smallholders that we use. Yeah, that's it. That answer your question? For Malaysia.
Okay, for Malaysia, like I mentioned earlier, last year the government already approved $100 million, Haji, betul? $100 million, 100 million ringgit, not $100 million for the smallholders for the replanting grant. So they are getting, they can apply for the grant through one of our agricultural bank, which is named as Agro Bank. So the loan that the government give, the total pembiayaan, the fund that they give, the government give to the smallholders per hectare is 14,000 per hectare. So it will be 7,000 grant and 7,000 in terms of kind of soft loan. And the maximum hectares they can get is for 6.5 hectares. So maximum is around 96,000, if I'm not mistaken, the smallholders can get from the soft loan and the TSPKS fund. And also MPOP also have their own agricultural input soft loan. I don't know whether they are still available or not, but there is but the main loan that the smallholders can get is the replanting loan. Hope that answered the question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Before we continue, I would like to ask Mr. Ramon Santos, are you still with us? Mr. Ramon Santos? You are still here.
Aquí.
Yeah, so I mean to make even because we are three and then we have question for you.
Tenemos
How
preguntas para usted.
Yeah, how much money do smallholders receive per hectare per year?
¿Cuánto dinero recibe un productor por año por hectárea?
Permítame.
Give me a minute.
Sí,
If,
y vamos a ver, permítame. Entonces,
let's see.
Yeah, probably you need calculators, but just roughly.
Yeah.
como alrededor de, pues con una productividad de 23 toneladas por hectáreas,
With a
recibiría
productivity
alrededor
of,
de 4.224 dólares.
okay. With a productivity of 23 tons per hectare could be more than $4,000 per year.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we can learn from you because of the management, the action of your management. Thank you very much, Mr. Ramon. Just use the, I think, CP with us. So we still
Podemos
have
aprender de usted.
8 more minutes. So with last question, yeah, I think Papa first. Be short because we only have 7 minutes right now.
Thank you. I got one question here to address to Pak Djono. As you present just now, the income of smallholders in Indonesia is about 300 USD, which I calculate about 1,400 ringgit Malaysia, while Mr. Shofi present about 1,890 ringgit for smallholders income in Malaysia. So there's a difference about 480 ringgit, which is almost about 100 USD. So meaning to say that there's a difference of income from what smallholders in Indonesia and Malaysia get through 1 ton of oil palm that sell to the market. So now the question is that I think we should address to this problem. Maybe we should discuss about how we are going to have a common calculation in pricing mechanism between the affiliated countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Honduras, so that everybody can get the same price as what we have in Malaysia. It is a little bit higher than what we get in Indonesia. So maybe I seek explanation from Pak Djono how we are going to work about this one.
Baik, terima kasih Bapak dari NASH. Regarding the question related to the pricing, and there are many other challenges that we face as smallholders from Indonesia, Malaysia, Honduras. We believe as smallholders from Indonesia, this is the answer of the global palm oil. What's that name? Alliance that we are going to discuss this afternoon, because this is the forum for us to discuss. Yes, there are many challenges. Yes, there are many differences. So we can share information. We can share knowledge on how to make smallholders have a better livelihood from the oil palm. So we believe through this, in this afternoon panel session, and we are looking forward for it. And through this alliance, we can do that. We can do even more than Malaysia do their by own, Indonesia do their by own. Through this alliance, we can go together. And there are many other problems, not only about pricing, but pricing is number one. But pricing is different and related to many part of the plantation, related to the productivity, related to fertilizer, related to the technology use, and there are many other things. So that's my answer, Pak. Looking forward for the next session later in the afternoon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think just one questions because we already 4 minutes. Yes, Pak, please.
Terima kasih. Pertanyaan saya tujukan kepada Pak Shofi ya dari Malaysia ya. Saya menanyakan bagaimana pengaturan tentang penetapan harga tandan buah segar kelapa sawit khususnya kepada smallholder yang ada di Malaysia. Terima kasih.
Did you get it? Yes.
Terima kasih Pak soalannya, tapi saya rasa soalan ni tak boleh Haji, Tuan Presiden kalau boleh jawab, Haji Azmi, berkenaan dengan penentuan harga ni.
Do you want to discuss it? Pricing mechanism? Yes, please. You can go inside. Go on stage, sorry. Yes. Yep. Yeah, that's it.
Price is very difficult to set. If I can set the price, I am very rich. Okay, but for Malaysian smallholders in Malaysia, our price is set based on back calculation formula. You see, we take the price, physical price at Malaysian reference price of FAB, of CPO and kernel, then we calculate back. All cut all the cost, everything, and comes to FAB price per ton. And of course, the price is based on 1% OER, oil exchange rate. So when you calculate, then we get the average of price of average OER of Malaysia, and then from there we divide it again, then we get 1% OER. So when we sell our FFB to the dealer or to the mill, the price is based on 1% OER. So the problem here is that when the smallholders are selling to the dealer, they don't set the price, they don't set the OER. The OER is set by the mill. There is one more level. Okay, so there is no something the dealer don't have the OER. So this sometimes the OER is set previously. I mean, whatever the mill have the OER previous month, that is the OER, the reference OER for the smallholder. That's one thing. Second thing is that if the relationship with the smallholders and the dealer are very close, they will fix the OER at very higher rate. So if you are smallholders, always run away. One day you set to the dealer, and then you set to the dealer, and your OER is very difficult to get them. So this is the issues of price of FB in Malaysia. I think it's happened to Indonesia also. So because we don't have the reference OER price at that level of our sales, because the FB sold to the dealer sold to the mill. The mill only produce the OER average at the end of the month. So if you are going to get the daily OER, I don't think you can get that reference OER on the daily. So average of a month then only determine. So if you want to sell your FFB to the dealer and want a spot price, I mean you want a physical price, the day price, they wouldn't give you the actual price. They usually have a discount of maybe 10 to 20% because of what? If in case the average OER by the mill might be low or might be high. And also the price different during that at the end of the period. So this is how the mechanism of pricing in Malaysia. But I don't know about Indonesia because in Indonesia I find out they have 1 or 2 level of dealer. And this is more difficult to ascertain what is the price based on OER. I think it's answered the question.
Yes, I think we can discuss it again later.